Index Funds for Beginners, a 5-step guide so you never panic again. Hey everyone, before we start, I want you to picture something. It's 2008. The stock market is in free fall. Every news channel has that same red arrow pointing down. And somewhere in a small apartment, a 24-year-old just checked their retirement account and lost 40% of it in a single month. That person panicked. They pulled everything out, went to cash. And you know what happened next? The market recovered fully within about 5 years. But that person never got that money back because they sold at the bottom out of pure fear. I tell you that story because today's video isn't really about index funds. It's about making sure that's never you. Give me the next 10 minutes and I'll walk you through exactly how index fund investing works, step by step, so that the next time the market drops, and it will drop, that's guaranteed, you won't be the person panic selling. You'll be the person who just keeps going. Let's clear something up first. Most people think investing is basically gambling with extra steps. Pick the right stock, time the market perfectly, get lucky. That's the picture Hollywood gives us, guys in suits yelling on a trading floor. But here's the reality. The vast majority of professional fund managers, the people whose entire job is picking winning stocks, fail to beat a simple, boring index fund over the long run. Not most years, most decades. That's not a hot take. That's been shown again and again in long-term performance studies comparing actively managed funds to the S&P 500. So the misperception is this. People think you need to be smart about the market to win. The truth is you need to be patient and consistent. That's it. That's the whole secret. And it's kind of anticlimactic, I know. Here's what we're covering today. 5 steps. That's the whole roadmap. Step 1, understanding what an index fund actually is. Step 2, figuring out where to actually buy one. Step 3, deciding how much to put in. Step 4, automating the whole thing so willpower is never required. Step 5, the one mental rule that will save you from ever panic selling again. Let's get into it. Step 1, what an index fund actually is. Think of the stock market like a giant fruit basket with thousands of different fruits in it. That's every publicly traded company. Buying one stock is like buying one single apple from that basket. If that apple is rotten, you lose your money. If it's amazing, you win big. But it's a bet on one piece of fruit. An index fund is different. Instead of picking one apple, you buy a tiny slice of the entire basket. Hundreds or thousands of companies, all in one purchase. When you buy something that tracks the S&P 500, you're not betting on Apple or Amazon or some startup your cousin told you about. You're betting on the collective success of 500 of the largest companies in the country, all at once. I remember the first time this clicked for me. I used to think I had to become some kind of stock-picking genius to invest. Once I understood I could just buy everything instead of guessing at one thing, the whole intimidation factor disappeared. Step 2. Where do you actually buy one? This part trips people up more than anything, so let's make it simple. You need a brokerage account. Think of it like a bank account, but designed for buying investments instead of just holding cash. There are several well-known, well-regulated brokerages that let you open an account in about 10 minutes, often with $0 required to start and 0 commission fees on trades. Inside that account, you'll search for a fund by its ticker symbol, a short code, like 3 or 4 letters, that represents a specific fund. Total market index funds and S&P 500 index funds are the 2 most common starting points for beginners, and they usually carry what's called a low expense ratio, a small annual fee, often under 0.1%, which is dramatically cheaper than actively managed funds that can charge 10 or 20 times that. That expense ratio matters more than people realize. Over 30 years, the difference between a 0.03% fee and a 1% fee can quietly eat tens of thousands of dollars out of your returns. Small numbers, huge consequences. Step 3. How much do you actually put in? Here's where I want to validate something. If you're thinking, I don't make enough money to invest, I hear you, and that feeling is real. But this isn't about starting with thousands of dollars. This is about starting with whatever you can. A common, sustainable starting point that a lot of financial guidance points to is putting in somewhere around 15% of your income toward long-term investing once your basic needs and emergency fund are handled. But if that number feels impossible right now, even a small, consistent amount, something you barely notice missing from each paycheck, beats waiting for the perfect moment when you'll supposedly have more to invest. That perfect moment rarely arrives on its own. It usually has to be built. Step 4. Automate it. This is honestly the most important step, and it's the one people skip. Willpower is unreliable. You will have weeks where you're tired, stressed, or tempted to skip investing just this once. So don't rely on willpower at all. Rely on automation. Set up an automatic transfer that moves money into your brokerage account the same day your paycheck lands, before you have a chance to spend it or even think about it. Pay your future self first, the same way you'd pay a bill. Most brokerages let you automate the actual fund purchase too, so the money doesn't even sit there. It goes straight into the index fund on autopilot. This single habit, automating before you can talk yourself out of it, is quietly one of the biggest predictors of whether someone actually builds wealth over 20 years versus someone who means to invest but never quite gets around to it. Step 5. The one mental rule. This is the step that ties back to that story at the beginning. Here's the rule. When the market drops, you do nothing. Not you carefully consider selling. Nothing. You let the automatic transfer keep running and you close the app. Market drops of 10, 20, even 30% are not rare events. They're a normal, expected part of investing over any multi-decade timeline. What separates people who build real wealth from people who don't usually isn't smarter stock picking. It's just staying invested through the scary parts instead of jumping out right when things are cheapest. I want to be honest here too. This approach isn't for everyone. If you have high-interest debt sitting unpaid or no emergency fund at all, investing shouldn't be your first move. Get those foundations handled first. Index fund investing is a long game. It's not going to solve a short-term cash crisis, and it's not meant to. So let's bring this together. 3 things I want you to walk away with. 1. You don't need to be a genius or pick winning stocks. You need to buy broadly and stay patient. 2. Automation beats willpower every single time. Set it up once and let it run. 3. The market will drop, probably more than once in your investing life, and your only job in that moment is to do nothing and let time do the work. Building wealth this way isn't flashy. It's not going to make you rich by next year, but it's steady. It's boring in the best possible way, and boring is exactly what wins over 20 or 30 years. Thanks so much for watching. If this helped clear things up, you know what to do. And if you want the next step in this journey, go check out the video on building your emergency fund before you start investing. That one pairs perfectly with this. Take care of your future self. They're counting on you.